Vaiguru Ji da Khalsa, Vaiguru Ji Fateh. Students and teachers from Nishtan School for opening and setting here a perfect scene for the special occasion. And it's a truly pleasure to see so many of you here gathered to mark Vaisakhi. And I'm deeply honoured to be the first Sikh Member of Parliament to host Vaisakhi. I should just... A tradition that has been running for many years now. And for those that don't know me, my name is Sonia Kumar, and I'm the Member of Parliament for Dudley. I'm a proud Sikh. I'm a first ethnic minority, the first Sikh, and the first woman to represent my constituency in Dudley. And to those non-Sikhs who have joined us today, thank you so much for being here and sharing what is one of the most important days for our Sikh calendar. Now, Vaisakhi marks the birth of the Khalsa in 1699, when Guru Gobind Singh Ji called upon 5 individuals who later known became the Banj Pyare, who showed courage, strength, and unwavering faith. Their examples continue to inspire us today. And every year in Vaisakhi, we celebrate a time or a focus of a theme. And this year, the theme is community resilience and community cohesion. And in times of global uncertainty, this message is so deeply ingrained in Sikhi. And it reminds us of the courage, conviction, compassion, and determination, and what faith is, and what is to do, and what to do right. So we are called to act with respect, with empathy and kindness, and always putting the interests of our community at our hearts. These values will guide us as we strive for harmony and challenge those divisions in society. Together, we can build a more meaningful change. United, we are stronger. Whether that's through Langar Seva, public service, or simply supporting one another at the time of need, our collected efforts build a more inclusive and compassionate society. And of course, events like today don't happen with the dedication and collaboration of so many. And I'd like to express my heartfelt thanks to the Speaker, Lindsay Hoyle, who has permitted the celebrations in the Speaker's staterooms today. My colleague, Mike Wood, the MP, for co-hosting this event. The British Sikh Consultative Forum for their tireless organisation. Amrit Man, the owner of the Punjab restaurant, who has generously provided the food for Seva. And of course, all the volunteers who make this night possible. I also want to thank the Right Honourable and my friend, Pat McFadden, for recognising the importance of this auspicious event and giving it the respect and platform it deserves in Parliament over the years. And this evening would be remiss not to acknowledge the growing diversity in this country, and in particular, the record number of Sikh MPs now sitting in Parliament. From just 2 Sikh MPs in 2017, we now have 11 in 2024. A truly historic leap forward for representation and inclusion. And I'm proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with these fellow Sikh MPs. Tan, Preet, Gurinder, Warinder, Baggy, Harpreet, Satvir, Kirith, Jazz, and Jeevam. And before I hand over to David Simmonds, I just want to thank each and every one of you for joining us in this evening. Your presence here is a testimony of the unity, resilience, and spirit of our community. Vaiguru Ji da Khalsa, Vaiguru Ji di Fateh.
So Sat Sri Akal ji, thank you for joining us today. I know you have been effectively hosting us at the Speaker's House today for the Vaisakhi event, but just for those that don't know you, please introduce yourself.
So my name's Sonia Kumar. I'm the Member of Parliament for Dudley, the first female to be elected there, the first ethnic minority and the first ever Sikh. And it's a really proud moment for me to date and a privilege to be standing here and hosting for the first time.
Yeah, congratulations on your appointment. And just from an event perspective, we'd just love to hear a little bit more around your perceptions of the event. What does Vaisakhi mean to you and how is that celebrated in your constituency?
So Vaisakhi is actually celebrated normally with me, my family, and speaking, talking together, going to the Gurdwara, going to do some, listen to some kirtan, and I think it's just for me about togetherness, unity, and I think reflecting on what Sikhi really matters to us and how we can give back. And I think the reason why I'm doing the job I'm doing is all about giving back. I'm not a trained politician and being an MP isn't in my blood or in my family, and I came forward because I wanted to make a change, and that was part of that.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you. And our theme this year is around community resilience, so we'd just like to hear a little bit more about what you're doing around that in your constituency and how do events like this really help to bring communities together?
I think representation really matters. The first time there's a woman actually standing and hosting this event, there's the first ever woman being elected into my constituency, and there's 11 other MPs that have been historic in that leap forward of representation. So for me, I think it started with two, which was Preet Gill and Tan Desi, but I'm so glad to see that we're going to now have this momentum going forward and we have more elected office. But that doesn't just mean being as an MP, but also as at council level, mayoral level, and also at working at the back offices, because we don't have enough diversity in staff, even in the parliamentary staff that we have here.
Yeah, okay, amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And what do you think we can all do on an individual basis around community resilience? Just what one message we can all take away to do something different or get involved?
I think just seva, no matter how you want to put it, whether it's going to the Gurdwara, doing some seva there, whether it's volunteering for a food bank, whether it's actually deciding to do a little bit of voluntary time in the hospital or any sort of community setting. It just maybe just listen to somebody, you're at a bus stop, you want to speak to somebody and just ask them if they're okay. I think all of this is all about community spirit and community resilience.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for hosting us today and enjoy the rest of this Vaisakhi celebration.
Yeah, happy Vaisakhi.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's my duty to start where we just left off. You're going to be hearing from many politicians this evening, and I'm the first of the Conservative MPs to say what a great privilege it is to be here to celebrate Vaisakhi in the Speaker's staterooms this evening. I represent the constituency of Ruislip, Northwood and Pinner. I've already met a few people from my local area here this evening, one of the most diverse constituencies in the country and a place where we enjoy celebrating the enormous contribution of our many local Sikh residents, businesses to the community. And it was my privilege as a councillor in the local area to support the development of the Guru Nanak School in West London, from accommodating just 6 pupils to a powerhouse of education in West London with a primary school, a nursery, supporting more than 1,000 people to develop their Sikh culture, faith and identity in the context of a top quality education. I know so many of us are enormously glad to see the contribution that our diverse communities make. And here in Parliament today, we're not just here to celebrate Vaisakhi, we'll be celebrating it on St George's Day, where many colleagues have been here to celebrate that event as well. And I hope everybody is going to have a wonderful evening, take away that sense of being 100% valued by all political parties and politicians and members of Parliament here in Westminster, and above all, enjoy the opportunity to be here in the heart of our national culture, our government and our Parliament, and to take away the best wishes of all colleagues back to your community as well. Thank you.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So welcome, Right Honourable Gentleman Tan Desi, here at our Vaisakhi event at Speaker's House. Happy Vaisakhi. Thank you for joining us. Our theme this year is around community resilience. I'd just love to hear a little bit about how Vaisakhi is celebrated in your constituency and also about community resilience and what you're doing to support that.
Good. Well, look, lovely to be here once again. ਸਾਰੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਚੈਨਲ ਦੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਦੇਖੋ ਹਰ ਸਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਸਮਾਗਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਵਿਸਾਖੀ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਜੋ ਸਪੀਕਰਸ ਦੇ ਸਟੇਟ ਰੂਮਸ ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਾਊਸ ਆਫ ਕਾਮਨਸ ਦੇ ਸਪੀਕਰ ਆ ਉਹ ਮੇਜ਼ਬਾਨੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਹਰ ਸਾਲ ਜਦੋਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਿਸਾਖੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਸਾਜਨਾ ਦਿਵਸ ਮਨਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਤੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਲੋ ਹਲਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਨ ਸਲਾਓ the Vaisakhi is celebrated with wonderful Nagar Kirtan where the Gurdwaras come together। ਤੇ ਦੇਖੋ ਇਹ ਉਹ ਮੌਕਾ ਆ ਜੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਸੰਗਤ ਦੇ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਣਾ, ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਗਲੀ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦੱਸਣਾ, ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੈਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜਾਗਰਤੀ ਪੈਦਾ ਕਰਨੀ। ਸੋ ਵੈਦਰ ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਦੇ ਸਾਜਨਾ ਦਿਵਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਚਾਨਣਾ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਕਹਿਣੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰਗਟਿਆ ਮਰਦ ਅਗੰਬੜਾ ਵਰਿਆਮ ਅਕੇਲਾ ਵਾਹੋ ਵਾਹੋ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਆਪੇ ਗੁਰਚੇਲਾ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਆ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਆਪ ਖੰਡੇ ਬਾਟੇ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਪੰਜਾਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਛਕਾਇਆ, ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਆਪ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਖੰਡੇ ਬਾਟੇ ਦਾ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਿਆ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਆਪਾਂ ਜੋ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਅਹਿਮੀਅਤ ਕੀ ਆ, ਇਹ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਿਸਾਖੀ ਤਾਂ ਵੀ ਮਨਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਅਗਲੀ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗੇ। ਸੋ ਇਟਸ ਵੈਰੀ ਵੈਰੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ that the next generation realizes the importance of the Khalsa। And the Guru himself said कि खालसा मेरो रूप है खास, खालसे में हो करो निवास। The Khalsa is my special form and I reside within the Khalsa। That's why while it's wonderful ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਮੋਸੇ ਪਕੌੜੇ ਖਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਚਾਹ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਪੀਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਗਰ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਦੋਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪਰ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਜੋ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦੀ ਅਹਿਮੀਅਤ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਉਸ 'ਤੇ ਗੌਰ ਫਰਮਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਤਾਂ ਅਗਲੀ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ।
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today. Enjoy your celebration.
Thank you. Pleasure and keep up the great ਸੇਵਾ। ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਚੈਨਲ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਬਲ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਤਮਾਮ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਟੀਮ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੰਥਕ ਸਮਾਗਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹੁੰਚਦੇ ਆ, ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਆ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਉਹ ਵੀ is invaluable। So thank you for everything that you're doing as well। ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੰਗਤ ਤੱਕ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੈਗਾਮ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਉਣਾ, ਤਾਂ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਬਲ ਉਦਮ ਬਖਸ਼ੇ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
Thank you for David Simmonds for joining us today. He's the Shadow Minister for Housing, Community and Local Government since July 2024, so do apologise not to introduce your title. I'd like to also now hand over to the co-host, Mike Wood, who is the Member of Parliament for Kings Winkford and South Staffordshire and was re-elected, and also is my neighbour, so thank you.
Thank you, Sonia, and welcome to Parliament on this special occasion. It's a real pleasure to be here with you this evening to celebrate Vaisakhi, a day of reflection, celebration and unity, but also an occasion to celebrate the incredible contribution made by Sikhs to each of our communities and to every aspect of public life. As you know, Vaisakhi holds deep significance, marking the birth of the Khalsa, but more than that, it celebrates values that go far beyond those of any one community. Resilience, community, faith, love, and selfless service. And resilience lies at the heart of the day. Throughout history, our Sikh communities have shown remarkable strength in the face of hardship, meeting challenges with dignity, courage, and a quiet determination that continues to inspire people of all backgrounds. But Vaisakhi also celebrates community. The tradition of coming together, of sharing food and fellowship, it reminds us of how powerful it is when people stand side by side. In a world that can sometimes feel divided, that sense of belonging and of unity is something that we can all learn from. We also reflect today on the remarkable contributions of British Sikhs to our national life, from serving with distinction in our armed forces during both World Wars to this present day, to standing on the front line of the NHS, leading in business, education, public service and beyond. British Sikhs have helped to build and enrich every corner of our society. Then there is faith, a faith that provides strength in difficult times and guides us to act with compassion, humility and with purpose. It's a faith not only to our God but also in one another, in the values that connect us and the belief that we can all play a part in building a better world. From faith flows love, love that is lived through action in caring for others, in showing kindness, in being generous with our time and with our hearts. Love that crosses boundaries, builds bridges and brings people closer together. And perhaps most inspiring of all is the enduring Sikh principles of seva, selfless service, which we see so powerfully in action, not only this evening, but in our communities right across the country. Whether it's running community kitchens, supporting food banks, responding to natural disasters, or offering aid during the pandemic, the Sikh community continues to embody compassion, generosity, and unity in action. Seva is not done for recognition, it's done from the heart, and it leaves a lasting impact. And so as we gather here this evening to celebrate last week's Vaisakhi, we are reminded of the values that lift up not just a community, but a nation. These are values we all need more of. Resilience in adversity, community over division, faith in uncertainty, love in all things, and seva in everyday life. So thank you for the warmth, the welcome, and the privilege of joining you this evening.
Well, hi, welcome. I'm Bethan.
I'm Mike Wood. I'm the Member of Parliament for Kingsford and South Staffordshire and a Shadow Minister in the Cabinet Office.
Well, how have you found this evening? Is this your first time at the Speaker's House celebrating Vaisakhi, or have we been to a few?
No, I've been here a few times. It was my first time co-sponsoring the event, so it was fantastic to be able to welcome so many people to the Speaker's staterooms. Obviously, particularly so many people from our Sikh communities around the country, and to bring them to the Speaker's staterooms to celebrate Vaisakhi.
Amazing, and as you said, you're co-sponsoring. This year's theme has been community resilience. How have you learned, or what have you learned from the Sikh community, or what can we kind of learn from not being the Sikh community as their kind of approach to the community resilience?
Well, we've obviously seen resilience in action from our Sikh communities in particular through difficult times over the years, and recently, of course, with the pandemic and the practical action that our Sikh communities took to help the wider community through those really challenging times. And of course, a lot of that resilience comes from faith that helps you get through the difficult times, and from that faith, of course, flows love and the concept of seva, that selfless service, which obviously those core Sikh values that really go so much wider than any single community, but are particularly special within the Sikh community.
Perfect. And I suppose, why is it so important that, and as that co-sponsor, celebrating it in the Speaker's House and kind of having that weight of being able to celebrate it here?
Well, obviously the festival is extremely important, but it's also that opportunity to bring people together to celebrate the wider contribution that Sikh communities make right around the country, whether it's obviously serving in armed forces over through 2 world wars up to the present day, whether it's working across our public services, health, schools, whether it's in business, or an everyday community life in our voluntary sector. Sikhs give so much to our communities, and it's an opportunity both to recognise and to celebrate that.
Amazing. Well, thank you for coming, and hopefully see you again next year, and I hope you've enjoyed it.
I hope so.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. First of all, thanks for having me. It's my first time here, so thank you for giving me this opportunity to help host this event. I'd like to introduce one of our esteemed guests. We're honoured to have Dr. Sadhu Singh with us, who's the director of British Sikh Consultative Forum Executive. He's been actively working as a volunteer in several capacity roles in Sikh community as well as in the wider charity sector. Dr. Sadhu Singh was instrumental in setting up Guru Nanak School in Hayes, which you might be aware of. And one of the things that you might not be aware of is that he was the one that invented the first note counting machine that we have in the bank. So there's a fun fact for you. So I'd like to invite Dr. Sadhu Singh to share some words with you. Thank you.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਫੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਬਣਨੀ ਹੈ ਵਿਸਾਖੀ ਮਨਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਥੋੜਾ ਗਰਮ ਕਰੋ ਮਾਹੌਲ ਨੂੰ ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋਨਿਹਾ पता लग गया ना खालसा बैसाखी मना रहे. Mr. Speaker, Ministers of the Crown, Members of Parliament, Lords, Sahit Sangat, our very esteemed friends from other faiths, representatives of many organizations. It is a pleasure to see you at the 18th Vaisakhi celebration. This is the 18th. It is my privilege to welcome everyone on behalf of British Sikh Consultative Forum. We have been supported by all these years by Mr. Pat McFadden MP, who has stood by us all these years. We are proud that he is now Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster. Despite a very busy schedule, he still takes time to help us with this function. We are glad that Sonia Kumar MP, Mike Wood MP have volunteered to carry on the difficult task of sponsoring and managing the Vaisakhi event together in the spirit of all-party approach. The history of the Sikhs in UK is well known. We had to deal with many challenges. I'm proud to say that Wolverhampton, where I come from, was in the lead in addressing those challenges during 1960s, and still is to some extent. However, all of our right fights to ensure we can wear turbans in all walks of life, in schools, on motorbikes, in the army, etc., were only possible because of the resilience hardwired in the community by our gurus. The first thing Sikhs do when they move to a new region is to set up a Gurdwara and the Langar. This consolidates the community and its internal cohesion. The Langar is without any hierarchy. The richest and the poorest, they sit together at the Langar. It equalizes everyone. The sense of Pangat infuses our sense of calm and collective approach to issues. I'm glad that our government is also pushing for resilient communities. I hope it will put effort and money into that. Communities do a lot of voluntary work. They are cost effective and more passionate to support each other in changing times. I hope that government will showcase good practices so that communities can learn from each other. We need resilience to get through a changing world. Let me finish by thanking everyone again, and especially the Speaker of the House for hosting us again in these wonderful rooms. I also want to thank Punjab Restaurant and many others who make this event a success. Let me thank the volunteers too. And everybody who's come along today, many, many thanks for this 18th anniversary of Vaisakhi celebration in the Parliament. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Hi, well, yeah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. It's Shaka Adam, the independent MP for Leicester South.
Hi, nice to meet you. So, is this your first time celebrating Vaisakhi at the House or the Speaker's House? Or
It is, yes. Yeah. I just got recently elected, so I've celebrated it back home in Leicester plenty of times, but this is the first time and the honour to do it in the House of Commons.
Wonderful. And so how do you celebrate in Leicester?
So we have a really vibrant Sikh community, and I'm already arranging for Sunday to go on this long procession, starting at one Gurdwara, having breakfast with them, and then taking my way all the way to Clock Tower. It's just a real show of unity and love, and I volunteer with the Sikh charity as well that gives out langar, so I really know how much positive contribution the Sikh community make.
And do you find that it kind of outreaches beyond the Sikh community and more communities learn about the, forgiveness of Sikh community, but also learning from other communities, other faiths?
Yeah, I think the Sikh community is almost like a gold standard for that, because they do reach out to every community. So when the food is being served, it doesn't matter which religion you belong to. I myself come from the Muslim faith, but it doesn't matter because they serve everybody and every single day. And it's a real example for other communities to learn from as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you. Thank you for your
Next, we have Dr. Jasdev Singh Rai, General Secretary of British Sikh Consultative Forum, who we know organised this event with the help of a lot of volunteers. Dr. Jasdev Singh Rai, he puts together this Vaisakhi function for all of us. He works as and I might get this wrong, otolaryngologist, not sure what that is, so he'll probably tell you, and has a consultative status. He's got an organisation, human rights organisation, which he's a director of, Sikh's Human Rights Group, since 1989. This organisation has a consultative status in the United Nations, and his main work is at the United Nations. So I'd welcome Dr. Jasdev Rai to come up and say a few words. Thank you.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Sri Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the Vaisakhi at Westminster. This is the 18th event, and we are very proud that we've been continuing to hold this every year, particularly in these state rooms. So let me thank the Speaker of the House for hosting us, MPs and ministers, and Sahit Singh. Let me thank Right Honourable Pat McFadden MP for the many years he sponsored this event at Westminster. Although not known as an emotional person, but he was very passionate about our event. And he was always keen to ensure that we held it here. Mr. McFadden has now become the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, a very important job, a very busy person, and we are very proud of him. Mr. McFadden has passed the baton on to Sonia Kumar MP, still holding control in the Midlands, not passing it on to London. So there's a conspiracy going on there. Right? But Sonia and her staff have been very enjoyable to work with, and Sonia Kumar MP and Mike Wood MP have sponsored this event, and we hope will carry on doing so in the future. We proposed resilience as a theme this year. Every year we have a theme, which we hope the government takes a message and starts to work on that. The world is going through a difficult transition as it becomes multipolar and multilateral. Even during the stable period of Western hegemony and globalization, things were not always very smooth, but they are going to get more difficult, as we all know. It is becoming evident that life could become even more challenging in the fields of economics, in food security, in health, in housing, in jobs, among other things, and of course climate change. It is important through this period that communities build their own resilience. Through this period of uncertainty, the need for supporting and caring government is important. We are lucky to have a strong democracy in this country. Faith institutions have a very large base of volunteers. Their work can be strengthened by knowledge transfer from the government and its institutions, by infrastructure help, and some financial assistance. So we hope the government will reflect on our message. Again, let me thank everybody who've come here and graced us in celebrating the 18th Vaisakhi function at Westminster. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Yeah, my name is Kuldeep Singh Sahota. Lord Sahota. I used to be a regular guest on a Sikh channel, and so on and so forth. I'm here in this magnificent building of the Palace of Westminster, celebrating the Vaisakhi. Vaisakhi. When I was a young man in India, I came over when I was about 14. I used to go to Vaisakhi Mela and I looked forward to it. And my mum used to give me a 1 rupee, and that was sort of like used to buy my sweets and everything. And it was something we really looked up to Vaisakhi Mela. Why? Because Vaisakhi Mela comes after the harvest, when everyone, farmers has done their harvesting, and then they go to the Mela and to celebrate. And I, as a youngster, used to go there as well. So from me, to all the Sikh Channel viewers, a happy Vaisakhi, and see you next year.
Perfect.
Next, we have Professor Upkar Singh Ji Pardesi, OBE, speaking on behalf of Bhai Sahib Bhai Vrinder Singh Ji, OBE Chairperson, British Sikh Consultative Forum. Professor Upkar Singh Pardesi works closely with Bhai Sahib Bhai Vrinder Singh, Chairperson of GNNSJ, as a trusted advisor on education and community development projects across the UK and internationally, supporting the chairman's vision of spiritually inspired, value-led services. He has been recognized with numerous honors, including an OBE for services to higher education. He is also vice chair of Nishkam School Trust. He has contributed to the founding of Nishkam Schools, the first Sikh ethos multi-faith free schools, and also has contributed to major developments across both education and community sectors. He is also co-founder of myed.com. So I'd like to welcome Professor Upkar Singh Ji. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, please accept the Sikh salutation. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. It is my honor and humble privilege to speak today on behalf of Sahib Mahinder Singh, Professor Mahinder Singh Ji, Chair of the British Sikh Consultative Forum, who is with us in spirit, though unable to join us. He sends his warmest greetings and heartfelt apologies. Let me begin by thanking the Right Honourable Pat McFadden, MP, and the Chancellor of Duchy of Lancaster for his unwavering commitment to this celebration over many years. His steadfast support has ensured that Vaisakhi continues to be celebrated in this historic seat of democracy. We extend our thanks also to Sonia Kumar MP and Mike Wood MP for continuing the baton with the same spirit of unity and grace. This year's theme is resilience. It resonates deeply with us as Sikhs. For Vaisakhi is not only a celebration of harvest and new beginnings. It also marks the momentous day in 1699 when Guru Gobind Singh Ji created the Khalsa, God's universal army of saint soldiers. Khalsa Akal Purkh ki Fauj. Khalsa is God's army. Pragatyo Khalsa Pratma ki Mauj. It's sustained by the will of the Almighty. Khalsa is a spiritual and temporal collective built on the unyielding courage, equality, and seva, selfless service. On that day, resilience was forged into our very soul of the Sikh identity. It is difficult to speak of resilience without recalling the trials faced by our gurus and our communities. Whether it was Guru Arjan Dev Ji, who endured martyrdom with unwavering grace, or Guru Gobind Singh Ji himself, who bore the unbearable loss of his father, mother, and 4 beloved sons, yet stood tall to uplift the downtrodden. His vision was not to create warriors of conquest, but saint soldiers, resilient in virtue, defenders of justice, and guardians of liberty for all. We are reminded of the extraordinary spiritual resilience shown by Sikh women, imprisoned by Mir Manu, whose cruelty did not break their spirit. Even as they endured the unspeakable, these brave mothers sang lullabies to their babies born in prison. affirming the divine in the darkest of places. And then the Vada Gulhara, the great Holocaust of 1762, where thousands of Sikhs were martyred. Yet the flame of Sikhi did not flicker. It burned brighter. This is the resilience we carry in our collective memory. Not just the ability to endure suffering, but the spiritual will to rise, build, and serve humanity. Resilience is not just surviving. It is thriving in the face of adversity with dignity and compassion. Today, our Gurdwaras serve not only as places of worship, but as centers of social resilience, offering langar, health clinics, education, mental health support, and sanctuary to anyone who needs it, from all communities. Sikh values are not reserved for the past. They live in our kitchens, in our communities, and in our continuing stand against injustice and inequality. As citizens of this great nation, we are grateful to live in a democracy where our identity and contributions are respected. But let us not take this for granted. Resilience is also about vigilance. We must remain resilient against health inequalities, rising ignorance, growing intolerance, growing poverty, misinformation, and division. We must stand together, shoulder by shoulder, with those who face persecution of any background or belief, and offer not just our solidarity, but our action. So today, as we mark Vaisakhi here in the House of Commons, let us reflect on the true meaning of the Khalsa: to live fearlessly, serve selflessly, and act justly, not only for ourselves, but for Sarbat Dapala, the welfare of all. Let us draw inspiration from our history, and may we continue to be resilient, not only as a community, but as a great country, one that celebrates its diversity, defends its freedoms, and dares to hope for a fairer, kinder future. With these few thoughts, allow me to close by thanking all the volunteers who have made this event a success. We thank everyone for organizing this event each year, and express our thanks also to the young children of Nishkam Nursery from Birmingham and all the other children for their soulful kirtan. We hope to see you again next year. Happy Vaisakhi, and Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
That's great. Brilliant. Well, I'm just delighted to be here. My name's Analise Dods. I'm the Labour MP for Oxford East.
Fantastic. So not your first time in the Speaker's House for celebrating Vaisakhi, but I mean, again, how much does it mean to celebrate it here and to be able to just kind of learn more about this faith, but also just to showcase the importance of Vaisakhi and what it means?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so delighted that I can be back here again for the Vaisakhi celebration. I'm so proud that it's right in the heart of Parliament. That's exactly where it should be. Obviously, I'm grateful to the Speaker for enabling this to happen yet again. And it's just really amazing to be able to meet so many British Sikhs from right across the UK. I'm really proud of the Sikh community in my own area, which is Oxford East. And of course, I see that impact all of the time, the incredible hospitality, that we always see the charity work, the support for all people in our community. So, yeah, it's just great to be back, really, and to be able to celebrate with friends, old and new.
Well, it's great to have you back, and hope to see you again next year for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So welcome to this year's Vaisakhi at Westminster event. Thank you for joining us today. Now just get you to introduce yourself and your constituency.
Well, I'm Afzal Khan and a Member of Parliament for Manchester Resham. And happy Vaisakhi to everyone. Apne Sikha bhaiyan behnan nu Vaisakhi Mubarak.
Amazing, thank you. So just tell me a little bit about how Vaisakhi is celebrated in your constituency.
Well, I have 5 Gurdware So they're all there, the community is there. We have a lot of good places to celebrate. Top quality mithai ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ, ਲੱਡੂ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਨੇ, ਸਮੋਸੇ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਨੇ. So yeah, we've enjoyed that. Vaisakhi's have got celebration as well. And there's a large Pakistani, Indian, Punjabi community there who actually celebrate Vaisakhi.
So it sounds like you've got great community cohesion there. That's
Absolutely.
amazing.
This is the spirit, isn't it, of the Vaisakhi as well. And then I think the Sikh faith has this seva concept, which is such a powerful, which brings people together as well, which meets the need of the people as well. So it's amazing.
And our theme this year is about community resilience. What do you think we can do as individuals and as a community to come together more to support community resilience?
I think the community resilience, the key point is taking step towards one another. You know, we're lucky to be living in Britain, which has such a rich culture, rich in the religion point of view as well, and for us as humans, if we take a step towards one another, what you do is you got 2 steps closer. And by learning from one another, you enrich your own life. You give something, you take something. It's almost this idea of the bee. You know, the bee sits on the flower, gives something, takes from the flower, but never damages. And that's something we can learn as humans.
We can all do that. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for your time. Happy Vaisakhi.
Happy Vaisakhi.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is a very special speaker. We've got the Right Honourable Lindsay Hoyle, the Speaker of the House, and he's been the Speaker since 2019. He's been a friend to me and a mentor to many of us here. So I'd like to hand over to Lindsay. But before I do that, can I just ensure the people at the back can just be a little bit more quiet so we can hear the speeches? Because I think people have got some really valuable things they are saying today, and we'd all like to hear them. So hand over to Lindsay. Thank you.
Can I just say welcome everyone to Speaker's House, particularly our parliamentary Sikh and Hindu communities, to what I believe is this very special event. Vaisakhi is something that matters. It matters to me. Order at the back, come on. This really is a very special reception to mention and to mark Vaisakhi, one of the most important dates in the Sikh and Hindu calendars. Vaisakhi is an occasion when families and friends come together to renew their bonds of the community. So I'm very proud that we can share in the festivities with you all today. It is about the community. It is about the Sikh community. I cannot thank you enough personally for what you have done, not only being part of the United Kingdom, but making sure the community has worked hard, that you helped when we, in our hour of need, whenever that be, First, Second World War, we know the part that was played by the community. That's why I'm so proud with the armed forces today in the way that you still serve and make sure that the UK is protected. You helped rebuild. You brought the community's strength to this country, and thank you for being part of this country. Even in St George's Day, what better day than we can meet together? And it is that pride that I have, and I cannot thank you enough for attending tonight. But more importantly, the representation that you've got in this house is second to none. The members of Parliament that represents the community, I've got to say they're very lucky MPs. I have one Sikh family in my community. I could do with many more families from the Sikh community, because I know the strength of what you bring. So please, if you ever want to move, come and move to Chorley. I'd love to welcome you there. I am in envy of the MPs that represent you. So please, let's make sure that we enjoy tonight. It is about my heartfelt best wishes to you, your family, friends, for a happy and safe, peaceful festival. Can I say thank you, everybody? And I hope that we see you all next year. Thank you.
So Sat Sri Akal Benji, good to see you. Just introduce yourself for us.
Vaiguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaiguru Ji Ki Fateh. I'm Preet Gill, Member of Parliament for Birmingham Edgbaston.
Perfect. So happy Vaisakhi to you, and thank you for joining us at our event today. Just love to hear a little bit about how Vaisakhi is celebrating in Edgbaston.
Well, in my constituency, we don't actually have any Gurdwara. The nearest Gurdwara is either Guru Nanak Gurdwara Smethwick or it's Nishkam that many of my constituents go to, or in Waterloo Road. Of course, it's Khalsa Pantha Sajna. Se sare Sikh channel de viewers nu lakh ਵਧਾਈ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਜੋ ਪੰਥ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਕੌਮ ਦਾ ਇੰਨਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਦਿਹਾੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਜੋ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਰਾਜ ਜੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਚਲਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਸੋ ਤੇ ਧੂਮਧਾਮ ਮਨਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਅਖੰਡ ਪਾਠ ਦੇ ਭੋਗ ਪਏ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਨਗਰ ਕੀਰਤਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਆ ਜੋ ਸੈਂਡਵਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 11 ਮਈ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ 18 ਮਈ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਣੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਆ ਸੋ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਸਿਰਫ ਬਰਮਿੰਗਮ ਦੀਆਂ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇ ਸੈਂਡਵਲ ਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਦੂਰੋਂ ਨੇੜੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਉੱਥੇ
Thank you. ਸਾਡਾ topic this year community resilience ਦਾ ਸੋ ਐਡਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ community resilience ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ what can we do as individuals and as collective to really come together in the community
ਦੇਖੋ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਮਕਸਦ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਰਬੱਤੀ ਭਲਾ ਮੰਗਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਕੌਮ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਤੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਹਾਦਸਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜੇ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਘਟਨਾਵਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਪਹੁੰਚਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਵਿਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਲੰਗਰ ਜੋ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਸੀਗੀ ਤੇ ਦੇਖੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਜੋ ਇਲਾਕਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਬਰਮਿੰਗਮ ਐਜਬਾਸਟਨ ਕਾਫੀ ਡਾਈਵਰਸ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀਜ਼ ਉੱਥੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੀ ਦੇਖਭਾਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈ ਚਰਚਿਸ ਜੋ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਫੂਡ ਬੈਂਕ ਚਲਾਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਆ ਬੇਬੀ ਬੈਂਕਸ ਚਲਾਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਆ ਲੋਕੀ ਆਣ ਕੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਗੰਦ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਿਆ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਤੇ ਆਣ ਕੇ ਲਿਟਰ ਪਿਕਿੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਰੈਜ਼ੀਲੈਂਸ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਸਦੇ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਫ਼ ਸੁਥਰਾ ਹੋਵੇ
ਹਾਂਜੀ thank you enjoy the Vaisakhi event and thank you so much for joining us today ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ
Our next speaker is another friend of mine, I must admit. It's Seema Malhotra, who's a Minister of State of Immigration and Citizenship and a Minister of State of Equality since 2024. She's going to be giving out her wise words about Vaisakhi and I can't wait to listen to them. Seema.
Thank you so much. Sat Shri Akal, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. It is my great pleasure to follow such distinguished speakers and to thank and congratulate Sonia on her amazing work in organising today, but also the whole team, the British Sikh Consultative Forum, Dr. Jasdev Rai, Pat McFadden and so many others for this most special event held in Speaker's House and organised annually, bringing us all together, representatives from Gurdwaras and the community across the country. And my thanks also to Mr. Speaker for his support and generosity. As we celebrate Vaisakhi, the birth of the Khalsa, I am so pleased that we are still able to come together here today in Parliament for this annual cross-party event that we held even through COVID when we met virtually. We did that because it matters. It matters to mark this most important occasion in the Sikh calendar, here in the heart of Parliament, and to be able to share the teachings and messages of Sikhism in Westminster, as we do also through the month of April, through peaceful and prayerful community-based Nagar Kirtans and the very humbling occasions of Nishan Sahib Seva. In our communities, we see and recognise the contributions of Sikhs in action. Contributions in all areas of business, of culture and our economy, and through acts of service to support our community and particularly in helping the most vulnerable. The work that we saw also from Sevadars across our communities through the course of the pandemic, langar, food and support to the most needy, so much that was there before and continues and inspires and encourages young and old to come together in service and to think about the choices we make as individuals to bring those values of Sikhism into action. At a time also when we know that many of our neighbours feel anxious, isolated, alone, the impact of the cost of living crisis that continues. The leadership that the community brings is a hand of friendship and support and of faith to those in need. And I'm incredibly proud also of the Gurdwaras in our community. Singh Sabha Gurdwara in Hounslow and also in Southall, and the Guru Nanak Nishkam Sevak Jatha in Hounslow West, and other charitable organisations like Khalsa Aid and Nishkam Swat, reaching out to help those in need and provide that most needed example of generosity in a world that is so insecure and in which we see people standing for themselves rather than standing for each other. And indeed, in my role as Minister for Race Equality, ensuring that we celebrate diversity and the richness of the fabric of our society, and looking to how we continue to bring fairness through legislation, for example, ethnicity pay gap reporting, is part of how we want to ensure that there are no barriers to opportunity and that there is equal recognition for contribution from all in our society. So today we celebrate in Vaisakhi, bringing the values of Sikhism into our lives and conversation together. Spirituality, equality between men and women, between rich and poor, between all people of all faiths and all across society, and celebrate what that brings, which is progress and prosperity. We do this at a time of service and renewal, service in our NHS, our public services, our businesses, our armed forces. So many represented here in the audience today. My thanks to you all for being here, to all of our wonderful parliamentarians from across the Parliament supporting this event today, and my best wishes to you all for Vaisakhi, to you and to all your families. Thank you. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Welcome again.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Seema Malhotra. I'm the Member of Parliament for Feltham and Heston. I'm the Minister for Migration and Citizenship.
Well, yeah, as I said, welcome back. I know you've been to a few of these celebrations in the Speaker's House. How has this evening gone for you, and I guess especially in this new role that you have?
This has been a wonderful evening, and it has been one in which we've seen the Sikh community and those celebrating the Hindu communities coming from all over the country. So many Gurdwaras represented, so many people from different backgrounds, locations, and really what that is showing the really strong spirit there is in the Sikh community for celebrating this most auspicious and important occasion of Vaisakhi together. And in my roles as well as a minister, including as the Minister for Race Equality, I think in sharing of the values of Sikhism in terms of spirituality, equality, respect for each other and diversity, respect for people of all faiths, it's been a really special evening because we've seen members of Parliament from across the House of Commons, all parties, but also from all different faiths and backgrounds coming here and celebrating together in Speaker's House.
Amazing. And you've just touched on it. I guess, why is it so important that we celebrate, Vaisakhi and all the other faiths and allow that kind of interfaith appreciation so that we can learn from one another?
It's important because it's a recognition of the significance of Vaisakhi in the Sikh faith and the founding of the Khalsa. And it's a time of also remembering and thinking about ourselves, a reflection. What choices are we making? What priorities do we have in our lives? How do we seek to take the values of faith and to look at what we do in action? And the story of how our Gurdwaras with langar and support for the most vulnerable in our society, as well as just a general kind of sense of service for the whole community, is part of those values in action. And so it is important that we come together because these aren't things we can take for granted. They are things we need to choose to protect, and they are things that we need to choose to say that these are important for us, for our lives and for each other, and for the stand we take in being proud of our diversity, in being proud of the faiths across our country, proud of what we are together in Britain, but also the message that sends across the world about how we live together in a spirit of equality and respect, diversity, and also always holding out a hand to those in need.
Amazing. Well, you put it perfectly. Thank you so much for joining, and hopefully again see you next year. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very
much. Our next speaker is Jagdish Kaur Lal. She's a General Secretary at Sri Guru Singh Sabha Southall, which is one of the biggest Gurdwaras in the UK. She plays a key role in establishing groundbreaking projects, including world's first Sikh children's library called Bhai Gurmukh Singh Library. And she also spearheaded a creation of Haryavali Gardens, a community green space designed to cater to needs of the elderly. In her working life, she is a finance professional with over a decade of experience. She started her career at PwC and now works for an asset management company. If I could get Jagdish to come over, please.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Honourable Ministers, Members of Parliament, Lords, representatives of various faiths and organisations, and of course the Sadhu Singh, we are delighted to welcome you all to this auspicious 18th Vaisakhi celebration at Westminster. It's an honour to represent Sri Guru Singh Sabha Southall before you today, and I extend my deepest gratitude to the British Sikh Consultative Forum for organising this momentous event. As we gather here, let us not only cherish Vaisakhi as a time of joy and unity, but also recognise it as a powerful symbol of unwavering resilience. Since the beginning, Sikhs have been shaped by the trials and tribulations of life, yet they have never succumbed to the challenges that have come their way. From resisting tyranny and standing against injustice, to addressing economic hardships and ensuring education, we have consistently guided ourselves by the timeless principles of Guru Nanak Sahib. Throughout our history, we have consistently demonstrated a commitment to justice, oneness, and service, not only for ourselves, but also for the societies we inhabit. This year holds a special significance as it marks the centenary of Sikhs reclaiming the control of our most sacred gurdwaras in South Asia during the colonial era. Our gurdwaras have been unjustly appropriated as private properties by entities known as masands, and after a protracted struggle, we were finally handed back our institutions to the community. In 1925, the Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee took charge of safeguarding our institutions. The spirit of community resilience and oneness continues to inspire and guide our communities to this day. We have many examples of this enduring spirit, and this can be seen during our work at Sri Guru Singh Sabha Southall. As the largest Gurdwara outside of South Asia, the Sabha is dedicated to preserving Sikh principles, exemplified by our commitment to transparency, whether through community programs, education, or addressing social issues directly. We remain resilient in our efforts to improve our local community in Southall and beyond. We continuously learn, adapt, and progress for the benefit of all. The Sabha has also established and operates a faith-based school that has received positive feedback from Ofsted. Furthermore, with health and well-being, we offer self-defense classes for children and women. We support wellness classes at the Sabha for people of all ages, including physical yoga, which promotes overall health. We provide support to ASRA, an organisation that assists vulnerable families during challenging times, such as domestic violence, and particularly in cases where there's limited support available elsewhere. We successfully organised a very well-received organ donor registration campaign, resulting in nearly 1,000 people signing up. We were pleasantly surprised to discover that many Sikhs had already registered. We've also been conducting health check sessions to assess blood pressure, diabetes, health, diets, and simple tests for kidney function, with the goal of assisting individuals with good health. We've been collaborating with the Sikh Human Rights Group to advocate for Sikh perspectives at the United Nations and provide training in diplomacy and international relations to young Sikhs. Another notable project on the other side is Male Gill, which brings together elderly individuals at least once a week, where guest speakers are invited to come to discuss specific topics, where the elderly are brought together to be able to have a support network around them. These are just a few examples of the activities undertaken by the Sabha to foster resilience within the Sikh community in the face of challenges encountered by both individuals and communities in today's world. We share these initiatives with other gurdwaras and other communities. Our message to the government is that it should consider the substantial voluntary sector within faith-based institutions and explore ways to enhance its capabilities through strategic grants, knowledge transfer, and institutional development. While faith communities generally manage their finances with additional support with additional strategic support rather, the challenges faced by individuals in an ever-changing world can both be cost-effective for the government and alleviate the strain on institutions like the NHS. We hope this message will be considered. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
So thank you for joining us at the Vaisakhi event at the Speaker's House today. Just please introduce yourself and your constituency.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I'm Vrinder Singh Just. I'm the MP in Wolverhampton West. Wolverhampton, I'm really proud to be an MP in Wolverhampton because we've got 12% Sikhs by proportion. So it's a large Sikh population. And I've always come to this event. So this is the 18th year. First time I've been here as a member of parliament, so I feel particularly proud.
Congratulations.
And thank you so much. And it's great to celebrate Vaisakhi. This year's theme about community
resilience.
Cohesion and resilience, I think, is so important because being an MP is not easy. You get criticized as well. You try and do your best and you do good, but with every decision you make, there is somebody who's going to support that decision. There is somebody else who's going to not support that. But Sikhi for me means a lot because so no matter what, so I'm really very proud to be here, and thank you all of you for contributing to this event. It's always such a great event, so never want to miss it.
It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you.
So thanks for joining us today at the Vaisakhi event at Speaker's House. I'd just love firstly for you to introduce yourself and just tell us about the organisation.
Absolutely. So my name is Jagdish Singh, born and raised in Birmingham, and I run an organisation called Trakhi. We work with Punjabi communities to reshape approaches to mental health.
Okay, and just tell me a little about the work that you do, and what initiated that, and how are you outreaching the community now?
So I actually started Trakhi after my own experiences in mental health challenges, which happened when I was transitioning from home to university as a student. And I was really lucky to get the help I did at the time. But I recognised actually there were lots of people in our communities who weren't getting the help they needed at the right time. And so now we work with schools, we work with faith centres, community groups, we help deliver training, we help have conversations about mental health to invite people in, help them to share in a way that feels right to them and ultimately supports them to help themselves and help each other.
Yeah. And do you see the work that you do is seva? Because this year our theme is all about community resilience, and everything that you're talking about I see is building the resilience of our community, right, and reaching out to each other, supporting each other. So I just think that fits in perfectly, but I'd just love to hear your perspective as how much of that is seva and based on your own experience like you talked about.
So I'd definitely say our work is inspired through seva, and it's inspired by those selfless values that our faith has given to us. And I think what's really important is that we need to build important systems for our communities. So instead of taking a really reactive approach where we're dealing with issues at the last moment, we need to actually be proactive in how we build our organisations, build our systems, build our support. So actually people don't get to a point where they need help and it's really serious. But actually we support people earlier on their journey so they can get the help they need at the right time.
And so how do people find you, or how do they connect with you or your organisation?
So you can visit our website, which is www.trakhi.co.uk, or you can find us on any social media channels. Our username is TrakhiHQ.
Awesome, thank you. Enjoy the Vaisakhi event.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm just going to quickly introduce Pat McFadden, Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, and former host of Vaisakhi for over a decade, as well as my former boss.
Thank you very much, Chief. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Friends, it's a great honour to be with you this evening after coming to this event for many years. It's a great honour because tonight I'm here as a representative of the government at tonight's event. And I bring you the warmest greetings of the Prime Minister on this Vaisakhi season. I've got to tell you, although it is a great honour, it's also a bit of a relief. Because as Eve said, I was the host of this event for about 10 years, I think. And it's a bit of a relief to just be able to come as a guest. And for somebody else to have done all the hard work of organising. It was time to pass the baton. And I was very privileged to be able to pass the baton to Sonia Kumar. So I really want to thank Sonia and her office for all the work that they've done in bringing this event together tonight. And Sonia's one of, I believe now, 11 Sikh MPs in the Parliament. What a contrast to some years ago when there were no Sikh MPs in Parliament. And it really is a remarkable and wonderful change. And these are great MPs doing a great job for their constituents. And I'm really pleased to say that in the Cabinet Office, the team that I lead in government, we have one of those great MPs as part of our team, the departmental PPS, Safir Kaur, a wonderful MP, part of the Cabinet Office team, and it is just great to have her as part of the work that we are doing. I also want to thank Mr. Speaker for not just tonight, but year after year, allowing us to hold this wonderful event here in the Speaker's State Rooms, one of the grandest locations on the parliamentary estate to hold this event. And of course, the British Sikh Consultative Forum, who do so much work, and Bubbles. She thought she could get away from this, but she's here every year helping to organise this great event. So thank you to the British Sikh Consultative Forum for all the work they've done to make tonight happen too. Now, Vaisakhi, it's a very special time, as we know, for the Sikh community here in the United Kingdom. And a couple of weeks ago, I was honoured to attend the Vaisakhi celebration in Number 10, hosted by the Prime Minister. And I was also honoured to take part in the Nagar Kirtan from Wednesfield to Willenhall, from Wolverhampton to Walsall, you might say, in my constituency and the constituency of my friend and neighbour, Serena Brackenridge. And that's just one of many celebrations taking place all over the country. And these celebrations show the success and the deep roots of the Sikh community everywhere from Wolverhampton to Southall, from Leicester to Glasgow and many other places too. And those roots often started with people coming to do hard manual work in places like the foundries of the Black Country. And those roots have grown from those early days into huge success in business, in education, in the law, in politics, and in so many other fields. And that success is a great tribute to the hard work of the Sikh community. And all the way through, it's informed by really deep-rooted values. Values like seva, putting something back, looking out for others as well as ourselves. Community values that show the real spirit of Sikhi in this country. Now, in just a couple of weeks, we will commemorate the 80th anniversary of VE Day. A moment of the final victory over tyranny and fascism in Europe. And as those commemorations take place, and we look back on that history, let us never forget the sacrifices made by Sikhs in 2 world wars. And let us make sure that they are part of those commemorations. And as questions of security once again occupy us in today's times, let us thank the Sikhs through the ages who have contributed to the security of this country. So from past to present, and in all parts of the United Kingdom, we mark this Vaisakhi season that means so much to my constituents in Wolverhampton and Walsall and in many other parts of the country. and we celebrate what Britain is today and the contribution that the Sikh community has made to making Britain what it is today. So I am delighted to be with you this evening to bring the greetings of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet to this Vaisakhi gathering and to wish you all a very happy Vaisakhi. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Thanks for joining us today at the Vaisakhi event at Speaker's House. We all know who you are, but please introduce yourself for our viewers.
Well, I'm Pat McFadden. I'm the MP for Wolverhampton South East, and I've been coming to Vaisakhi in Parliament for well over 10 years. I was the organiser of this event for many years.
Yeah.
It's a great honour to be here. But as I said when I was speaking to the event earlier, it's also a bit of a relief to come as a guest and not with the organiser anymore, because there's a lot of work goes into it, and I've passed the baton onto a new organiser, Sonia Kumar.
Thank you. So thanks for giving us that background. So just tell us a little bit about how Vaisakhi is celebrated in your constituency and how you get involved.
Oh, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Vaisakhi in my constituency, Wolverhampton, has a huge Sikh community. And my constituency now straddles Wolverhampton and Walsall. Right. So, for example, I was on one of the local Nagar Kirtans the other week, and it goes from Wednesfield in Wolverhampton to Willenhall in Walsall. Wow. So the community is right across the local authority boundary.
Amazing.
And that's only one Nagar Kirtan. There are more and many other celebrations too.
Amazing. It's glad to hear you get involved in that. Our theme this year is around community resilience. So I'd just love to hear some reflections from you around what that means and what we can all do to really support one another in the community, and what's happening in your constituency around that.
Well, look, I think it's a really important and appropriate theme. And if you think about the experience we went through in the pandemic a few years ago, look at the way the Gurdwaras stepped up and organised food for people, Sikh and non-Sikh alike. It didn't matter. And that was a great example of community resilience and looking out for one another when we were going through a hard time in the country and around the world. So I think it's a really important theme, but it's not just the pandemic. I think the Sikh community is there wherever there's a need. Whether it's homelessness, whether it's people needing fed, all sorts of needs. People are there. You know, I talked about this spirit of seva tonight. There's a lot of successful people in this room tonight. People have done really well in business or politics or the legal field or whatever. But, my experience is people don't just want to enjoy their own success in the Sikh community. They want to live by that spirit of seva and look out for others too.
Yeah, amazing. Glad to hear you're so involved in some of this and you know all about seva, so that's great, Pat. And just any lasting finishing words that you'd like to share with our guests?
Look, Vaisakhi isn't a day, it's a season. So even though the actual Vaisakhi was a few days ago, I want to wish everyone a very happy Vaisakhi.
Thank you, Pat. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Mr. Right Honourable Pat McFadden MP has been sponsoring this event for many years, and he's passed the baton on to Sonia Kumar. He's now become the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster. Very, very busy job. As you know, he was also the main mastermind of Labour's victory as well. We are very thankful to him, we are very grateful to him, and we want to give a little present from ourselves. There is a model of Darbar Sahib, Golden Temple, and a couple of books. Dr. Sadhu Singh, who's our Vice Chairperson and Executive Director, will offer us to.
Here, Pat, you carried.
No way. Thank you very much. I am very honoured.
And I hope you'll still be there to help us in the future.
Always.
Not just retiring.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next, we have a very special guest speaker, Amrit Singh Gill, KC. He's this country's leading human rights King's Counsel. He became a QC in 2000 at then a relatively young age. He was the first turban-wearing Sikh QC since His Honour Judge Mota Singh QC. Manjeet Singh has appeared in some of the most highly publicised and groundbreaking cases of the past 25 years, with many appearances in House of Lords and the Supreme Court in cases such as the Article 50 Brexit case, the ZHK case, which established the duty to care, duty to take account of the best interest of children in public decision-making, the Cart case on access to judicial review, the famous Belmarsh case on indefinite detention without trial, the JJ case on indefinite house arrest, and many others in fields involving the protection of vulnerable persons. He chairs the board of Sikh Human Rights Group, and that's the only Sikh NGO at the UN. He also chairs the expert panel of the Strategic Legal Fund. So let's welcome Manjeet Singh Gill, KC. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. Secondly, I'm not at all sure why you've done so. There are many people in this room who are far better qualified than myself to make a contribution at an event like this. We've heard a lot about values, Sikh values. The values are universal, but they're also particularly specific to Sikhism, because Sikhism consists essentially of those values and not a lot else. It's all value-based. This is particularly important to me anyway, so all I can do is to, bearing in mind the quality of the contributions you've had so far, all I can do is to make a few comments on how these values affect me and what I do with them. And what, with respect, I think parliamentarians might want to do with them, since we're in the House of Parliament or the vicinity, or within its parameters anyway. For me, the essential elements, essential values, and as I say, they're not necessarily specific to Sikhism, but they are really at the core of Sikhism, unlike any other religion. Equality, sharing, and helping the underprivileged, helping the poor. Now I develop those 3 points in lots of different ways. Everything that I've done in the last 42, 43 years that I've been at the bar has really been driven essentially by those principles. I'm not sure, however, that we as lawyers, and I can only speak as lawyers because my experience is very limited, that we can, I'm not sure that we can actually do an awful lot. I tend to liken lawyers as simply people with a toolbox who are there with their spanners and their screwdrivers trying to change the system. But somebody else is responsible for that system. Those in power, those who control how statutes are drafted, how policy is formed. And what strikes me is that I'm not at all sure that we have anything like a charter of basic values in this country. A lot of people talk about it, of course. We have all sorts of other charters. We have the Human Rights Act. We have all sorts of other things. There was talk about bills and charters of rights and responsibilities several years ago. But what about a charter of values? If one had something like that, then it might be something to which parliamentarians could always turn to say, does this piece of legislation that we're about to draft or pass and support, does this actually comply with these values? And is it actually going to build community resilience, which is the theme of tonight's event, because all these things feed into community resilience. If people thought about that a lot more than they do, then it may be that the inequality and the poverty that we have in our society at the moment, inequality in particular, would not be there. Because if inequality is actually dealt with properly, you don't get what's happening in America with extremes in the Rust Belt and the billionaires, which drives the sort of results you are getting in situations you're getting in America. So if everyone thinks about values and then builds them into rights, then we get legislation which would actually be all of a piece, all be joined together, and actually help to keep stability and promote community resilience. Now that's not necessarily anything new, but it's something worth repeating, bearing in mind that there are parliamentarians here, and it may be that some discussions can take place between the BSCF and some of the parliamentarians with a view to actually seeing how these things may actually be developed on an ongoing basis over the future. With those few comments, can I thank you all for inviting me, thank all the organisers for putting on such a wonderful event, and, well,
Vance, I'm the Labour MP for Tipton and Wednesbury.
Well, welcome. So this is your first Vaisakhi at Speaker's House, I believe. Yeah. And how have you found it? Why is it so fantastic and important that we get to celebrate it here?
Well, this is a really, really important day in the Sikh calendar, and it is brilliant that we get to celebrate this in the heart of Westminster, in the heart of Parliament, here in Speaker's House. I think it's really, really important that we welcome people from all backgrounds, including the Sikh community, here into Parliament, and it just shows the strength of our communities here in the United Kingdom. It's the opportunity to mark an important day in the religious calendar for Sikhs, but also a day to recognise the contribution of the Sikh community to the wider charitable work that they do and to the community work that they do.
Fantastic. And yeah, have you learned anything more about the Sikh community or Vaisakhi over the last couple of days and at today's event?
Well, it's always good to find out about the diversity of the Sikh community. I'm very familiar with the Sikh community in my own constituency, but to meet people from across the country, from different Gurdwaras, from different traditions, and to hear about how they've been celebrating, that's been absolutely fantastic.
Oh, perfect. Well, hopefully not your only one you're here for, but yeah, thank you so much for joining today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Vrinder Singh. I'm the Member of Parliament in Smethwick in the West Midlands.
Well, welcome. How have you found this evening?
It's a really great event. I mean, I've had the privilege of attending this event in previous years, so we're really fortunate that the Speaker of Parliament has allowed his apartment to be used for several years running now to celebrate Vaisakhi in Parliament, and we get a really good cross-section of people from all around the country, and to be able to celebrate Vaisakhi in the mother of all parliaments, in the UK Parliament, is really important because it reflects the diversity of our country, and for the Speaker and the politicians that are here, everybody to recognise the importance of that is great. So really good to be here. Some old friends and some new friends are great. The refreshments are great, and all around really good event.
Yeah, and welcome back. What have you found so important from this year's theme of that community resilience, and actually why it's so important to hold it here and really kind of shine that through, and what we can learn from the Sikh community with that community resilience?
Well, I mean, a couple of things. I mean, first of all, to see so many grassroots Sikh organisations represented in the event today, that's really good. Is to see people who are at the sharp end, who very often are not thanked for the work they do, and for them to come here and be part of this event is really good. And for them to receive that recognition is great. I think in the bigger picture, communities and cohesion and resilience is really important, particularly in the world as we see it today. There are a lot of challenges out there, but what the Sikh community bring to this is that thing about our identity is really important. If you're Amrit Singh, if you're the star of the wedding, you stand out. So hiding away is not an option. So being able to stand up and articulate what you stand for, your value, is really important, and then be able to share those with the wider community. So the basic fundamental principles of Sikhi are really enshrined in the values that we all share, and it's about bringing that together. And if we do that, And one simple way of doing that is celebrate and share each other's festival. So that's what this today is really about.
Oh, what a lovely way to summarise that. Thank you so much for joining, and enjoy the rest of the evening, and hopefully see you next year.
Thank you, SIKH Channel, as well, for being here as well.
Thank you very much for that. Next we have Gurinder Kaur White. Gurinder has been coordinating the Vaisakhi function for at least 3 years now. So all this event that you see, she puts together the volunteers, negotiates with the Speaker's office for logistics and assets, and assists the guests as well as the Kirtan that you saw earlier. So I'd like to invite Gurinder Kaur to come and say a few words.
A very happy Vaisakhi to each and every one of you. It brings me immense joy to stand here today among such a wonderful gathering at the 18th Vaisakhi celebration in Parliament, organised by the British Sikh Consultative Forum. We're gathered here this evening thanks to the incredible generosity and support of the Speaker of the House, the Right Honourable Sir Lindsay Hoyle, who graciously opens his elegant and welcoming staterooms for our annual Vaisakhi celebration. A heartfelt thanks to you, Mr. Speakers, dedicated staff who have been a true delight to work with, offering us invaluable guidance and cooperation. On behalf of the Sikh Consultative Forum, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to Sonia Kumar MP and Mike Wood MP for sponsoring this meaningful event. I must also express my sincere appreciation to the Right Honourable Pat McFadden MP, whose steadfast support over the years has been instrumental in making this event a success. A special shout out to Eve Navis from Pat McFadden's office, who generously adjusted her holiday plans to ensure everything runs smoothly. It warms my heart to see so many members of Parliament joining us today to celebrate Vaisakhi, taking time out of their busy schedules to show their support for the Sikh community. This truly reflects the respect and appreciation held for Sikhs throughout Britain. I want to acknowledge the hard work of our MPs, who tirelessly advocate for their constituencies. May they carry the spirit of today's Vaisakhi message, community resilience, with them as they continue their important work. This event wouldn't be the same without the delightful food from the Punjab restaurant. Thank you, Amrit Singh OBE, for your ongoing support of at Westminster. It truly means a lot to us. A heartfelt thank you to our generous donors, Mr. Sagu and Mr. Kohli, whose support and sponsorship have made this celebration possible. And let's not forget the delightful sweets you'll be taking home, generously provided by the Sri Guru Singh Sabha, Southall. Their unwavering support over the years has been invaluable. I extend my deepest gratitude to all the volunteers, supporters, and community members whose tireless efforts have brought this event to life. Organising a 2-hour celebration requires a tremendous amount of hard work, and I'm proud to say that we had over 25 volunteers working diligently to ensure your experience was seamless. On their behalf, I apologise for any shortcomings. We're grateful for the excellent teamwork we enjoyed with colleagues from Sonia Kumar's and the Speaker's offices. We're thrilled to have over 100 organisations represented here today, from Gurdwaras to various affiliations. This is one of the largest gatherings of Sikh organisations and Gurdwaras in Parliament. And on behalf of the British Sikh Consultative Forum, I thank each of you for coming together. It's truly inspiring to witness such unity across our communities. We look forward to continuing this journey together and welcome any suggestions you may have for future improvements. Please accept our apologies to those who wish to join us but could not due to capacity restrictions. I'm also pleased to introduce Miss Indapal Kaur. I don't know if she's here. She's now serving as the Interfaith and Community Engagement Officer with the British Sikh Consultative Forum. Thank you all from the bottom of our hearts. This event shines brighter because of your presence here. Thank you once again, and I wish you all a very joyful Vaisakhi, and I hope to see you all again next year. Safe travels home, everyone. Please make sure you exit these rooms by 8 o'clock. You can carry on networking outside these rooms. Now I'll hand you over back to Sonia Kumar.
On behalf of both Mike Word and myself, I just want to say thank you to everyone that has attended once again to make this event such a success. Please do stay around and network. We want to have a little bit of time to ensure that those community members can speak to each other and also speak to your members of parliament that are here, and it's not just listening to us. So just thank you so much as I draw this as the last speech and to close this event, and thank you so much again for attending today. Thank you.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਸਾਖੀ ਮਨਾਈ ਹੈ। ਸਪੀਕਰਸ ਦੇ ਸਟੇਟ ਰੂਮ 'ਚ ਬੜਾ ਮਜ਼ਾ ਆਇਆ। ਬਹੁਤ MP ਆਏ ਨੇ, ਤਕਰੀਬਨ 35 ਤੋਂ ਉੱਪਰ MP ਆਏ ਨੇ, ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਆਏ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ, ਵਿਸਾਖੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ, ਪਰ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੰਨੇ ਸੇਵਾਦਾਰ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੰਨਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਤਕੜਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ। ਅਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਈ ਵੋਲੰਟੀਅਰ ਨੇ ਅੱਜ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਗੈਰ ਇਹ ਫੰਕਸ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ। ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਸਾਨੂੰ 18ਵਾਂ ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਕਰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ, ਐਂਡ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਚੀਜ਼ ਇਹ ਆ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਲੋਕ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੋਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਨੈਟਵਰਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਦੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਔਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੂਰਾ ਅੱਛਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਬਟ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਨੈਟਵਰਕ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੌਕਾ ਵੀ ਦਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ। ਐਂਡ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੰਮ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ, ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਫ਼ਰਕ ਪੈ ਸਕਦਾ ਆ, ਸਾਰੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਇਕੱਠੀ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਰਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ, ਡਜ਼ਨਟ ਮੈਟਰ ਕਿਹੜੇ, ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਤੋਂ, ਸਕਾਟਲੈਂਡ ਤੋਂ, ਨੋਟਿੰਗਹਮ ਤੋਂ, ਬਹੁਤ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੋਂ ਸਭ ਲੋਕ ਆਏ ਆ। ਇੱਕ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਨੈਟਵਰਕ ਕਰਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਵਾਈਜ਼ ਐਂਡ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਵਾਈਜ਼। ਦੈਰਸ ਬੀਨ ਗਰੁੱਪਸ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਐਲਕੋਹਲ ਅਵੇਅਰਨੈਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਲਿਖਾਈ ਬਾਰੇ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਇਕੱਠਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ। ਔਰ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਛੋਟੀ ਬੇਟੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਹੈ ਰੈਡਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ। ਰੈਡਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਬੇਟੀ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਆ? ਐਂਡ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਇਹਦੇ ਵੱਲ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਨਵੋਲਵ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ।
ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਚੈਨਲ ਦੇ ਦੇਸਾਂ ਵਿਦੇਸਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ BCSF ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਸਿੱਖ ਕੰਸਲਟੇਟਿਵ ਫੋਰਮ ਨੂੰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਵਿਸਾਖੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਲੱਖ ਵਧਾਈ ਹੋਵੇ। ਸਭ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਦੂਰੋਂ ਨੇੜਿਓਂ ਜਾਣ ਕੇ ਆਓ ਹੁਣ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਜੀਏ, ਖਾਲਸਾ ਬਣਾਈਏ ਤਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਯੂਨਿਟੀ ਬਣਾਈਏ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਈਏ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੀ ਵੀ ਕੌਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਝ ਸ਼ਕਤੀ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੋਲੰਟੀਅਰ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਦੇਣ ਲੱਗੀ ਹਾਂ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। On behalf of Sri Guru Singh Sabha Southall, the Sikh community of West London, wider London, Greater London and the whole UK, thank you very much to the BSCF and to Singh Sabha Southall for helping to arrange this amazing event today. Like Benji said, this is the 18th time that we've been here representing Sikhs, and it's the largest event that occurs here at Parliament at Westminster, and it's the largest Sikh event that occurs. Very proud to be a part of this and very happy Vaisakhi to everybody on behalf of Sri Guru Singh Sabha Southall. Thank you very much.
Of course, yeah, I'm Nigel Brooks. I'm an Assistant Chief Constable in Kent Police.
Well, welcome. Is this your first Vaisakhi at the Speaker's House?
It is, and what an event it is. I'm absolutely delighted to be here and joining everyone for this special event in an extraordinary and special place as well.
Yeah, and I suppose, why do you think it's so important that we celebrate events like this in such incredible venues like the Speaker's House?
Well, the Sikh community is an incredibly important and strong part of our community. Down in Kent, where I work, and in the force in that part of the country, we have very strong Sikh community, of course, in around Gravesend in particular. I was fortunate enough to join the Vaisakhi celebrations 2 Saturdays ago, and a glorious sunny day with probably 10,000 people in the local community turning out. So being part of something like that and sending a signal of how important the Sikh community is within the UK more widely, and in a place like this, I think is an incredibly special thing to be able to do.
Oh wow! It sounds like you've had the 2 weeks worth of celebrations.
I really have. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's one of the best parts of my job for sure.
Fantastic. And this year's kind of theme or message for Vaisakhi is community resilience. What have you learned over those 2 weeks or beyond kind of working with the Sikh community that we could learn from the Sikh community with community resilience?
Well, I think it's been incredibly important to develop strong and trusting relationships between the police, other parts of society and the Sikh community. In Kent, of course, we've for 30 odd years really had a close relationship, and that's building real trust, which is very telling, particularly when times are a little bit more difficult. And we've seen intolerance, we've seen spikes in hate crime, for example, at various points in the country. And to have a very close and trusting and a relationship where we understand each other very well, I think is so important to build strong resilience.
Definitely, and I think celebrating these Vaisakhi events and understanding what the Sikh community gives back and the kind of langar and the food that you can kind of gain and getting that kind of connection is really great to kind of cross-wire from it. So yeah.
It is, and the values of the Sikh community are so strong, aren't they? And so aligned to my own organisation, actually, serving the public, finding ways to earn a really positive living that contributes more widely. These are values that I think we can be really proud of, to have shared values across the UK and between the Sikh community policing and other groups. It's something which I think we should all value.
Oh, fantastic. Well, enjoy your evening and hopefully see you again next year for this.
I hope I'm here next year. It was terrific.
Thanks very much.
So thank you for joining us today at the Vaisakhi event at the Speaker's House, Westminster. Just want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yes, so my name is Mandeep Kaur Dhaliwal. I work at the University of Birmingham and I'm also a trustee for the Sadhu Singh Local Charitable Trust UK. So I'm from Wolverhampton, and as part of that we run community kitchens. We have like clothes banks where we give clothes out to low-income families or the poor, and we also invite the elderly in to tackle like loneliness. So we're just doing a lot of charity work in that area.
Thank you. So our theme this year is around community resilience. So it sounds like you're really, flourishing in that area. I guess what would you say are the key things that you're seeing at the moment, and what can we all do to truly try to make a difference in this space as well?
So I think the main thing is, obviously a lot of people are struggling in our community, so it's just making sure we're there to be able to provide a space for them to come to where we can help them. So we're funded by volunteers, so we don't get funding from anywhere, but our volunteers want to help. So the basics and our principles that our Guru has taught us is, Naam Japo, Van Choko, Girt Karo, and for that is sharing with others, trying to be that resilience for them when they're going through hardship, and for us to share that with them. Another element for us is also trying to teach our youngsters how to get involved, how to abide by those principles that our Gurus taught us, and that's what Sikhi is all about, and sharing and caring and being there for others as well. But not forgetting our principles, and it's what's in your heart and your mind, and just sharing that with others as well.
Thank you, and that sounds like great seva that you're doing, so thank you. How have you celebrated Vaisakhi, and this is the first time you're here at Speaker's House celebrating Vaisakhi with us as well?
Yes, this is the first time, so we're honoured to be invited, but we also had a whole weekend full of charity initiatives that we ran on Vaisakhi. So we had the elderly come in to celebrate with us, we ran our community kitchen on that day, so we had loads of different initiatives going on. We were able to go to a food bank and give out samosa as well, so that's a bonus.
That's lovely. Enjoy your celebrations. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Just kind of talk more about what you're doing. But if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Brilliant. My name's Elliot Vanstone. I'm the mission advisor for the Catholic Bishops' Conference of England and Wales, and I support the Bishops of England and Wales in their dialogue work.
Well, welcome. So as we spoke before, this is your first Vaisakhi at the Speaker's House, so welcome. Do you want to tell us a bit about kind of what the Sikh community means to yourself and actually your experience recently with them?
Absolutely. So I started this role about 4 or 5 years ago, and I had engaged in interreligious dialogue studying theology at university. And when you come into a new job like this, especially a dialogue outreach job, you're reliant on communities to be welcoming to you when you start this work. And actually the Sikh community was one of the most welcoming when I first started. My predecessor told everyone that I was joining, and one of the first messages I received was from a Sikh colleague saying, "Welcome to the job. We hope you embed into the interreligious scene England and Wales, and I was just very honoured with that. And these relationships have built and built over the past 4 years to thankfully being invited here today. And also just to mention, our Holy Father Pope Francis passed away on Monday, and I've been overwhelmed by the messages from Sikh colleagues from England and Wales, but also worldwide, offering condolences and support at this difficult time. And I think it's when you have difficult periods like the death of the Pope, for example, you can really judge the relationships you build with communities. And I have to say, I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude at the moment.
Oh, that's really, really great to hear. I mean, this year's theme with Vaisakhi has been community resilience, and it sounds like something that obviously your community is going through a lot at the moment. So is there stuff that you almost feel like you can teach one another or lean on one another for?
Absolutely. I've always said I'm very grateful and I'm very taken aback by the work that the Sikh community do within social cohesion, obviously offering food and the Gurdwara to everybody, and how much of an open door policy that the Sikh community have. Every Gurdwara has an open door policy. You can come in, you can come and have a look around, get tours, or you can come and have some food and talk and have community with one another. I think that's something that maybe we could do a little bit better job at opening our doors, but I think that's where interfaith dialogue really works. You can learn off each other. There are perhaps some things that I've taught some Sikh colleagues, and there'll be things that Sikh colleagues have taught me. And I really think the social cohesion, especially when you look at the social landscape of the country at the moment, I think after COVID, for example, there was a bit of social uncohesion, if that's the right way to put that. And I really think that having an open door policy, being welcoming, talking to everyone, they're things that we can really learn from each other. And I think we support each other very well in that.
Oh, well, wonderful. Well, enjoy your evening and welcome, and hopefully not your first Vaisakhi at the Speaker's House.
Crossed, hopefully not. Thank you very much.
But enjoy your rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Well, welcome. So this is your first Vaisakhi at the Speaker's House. How have you enjoyed?
Oh, it is extraordinary. It's the 18th year of the Speaker's House hosting the Vaisakhi celebrations, but it's my first year. So I'm the newly elected Member of Parliament for Wolverhampton North East, and I am so proud to be here at what is the mother of all democracies, the mother of parliaments, in Parliament celebrating Vaisakhi. I've seen some familiar faces and I've seen some new faces, but it's been a really exceptionally warm event.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we're glad you've enjoyed. Obviously, this year's kind of theme for Vaisakhi has been that community resilience. How have you kind of noticed that in your constituency, and why do you think that's so important right now?
Yes, well, since I was a little girl, growing up in Wensfield, in my constituency, I've always known of the fantastic work, the community work that the local Gurdwara have done with the community, whether it's working with Wensfield in Bloom or whether the local church across the road. There's lots of community events, and it is part of the selfless service of SEVA that goes on unheard of and unrecognised, but this is an opportunity to say thank you. But I am blessed in Wolverhampton North East because I have so many Gurdwaras. We've got the Kanakro Gurdwara that led the way for the World Kabaddi tournament to actually be held in Wolverhampton very recently. So we had something like 60-70 million views, all eyes on Wolverhampton, celebrating what was a fantastic Kabaddi event.
Wow, that's quite the claim. I don't think anyone else has got that. And how did your constituency celebrate Vaisakhi this year?
We've had quite a few processions, Nagar Kirtan, and we've seen it grow over the years. We've now have more residents actually come and line the street, actually sample the food and take part in what is a very joyful day. Yes, really good.
Wonderful. Well, welcome and enjoy your evening, and thank you so much for coming, and hopefully see you again next year.
And thank you for your time as well.
Perfect.
So thank you for joining us today, Tirith, at the Speaker's House Vaisakhi event.
So you just want to introduce yourself to tell us who you are and which constituency?
Yeah, so I'm Kirat Entwistle. I'm a newly elected Labour MP for the Bolton North East constituency, so I'm one of 3 Bolton MPs. And I represent a fairly mixed constituency, which is great, but it's been really nice to sort of get myself integrated into the different communities, and to be able to represent everyone is what I'm really passionate about.
Yeah, so just tell us how Vaisakhi is celebrated in your constituency, or how you've celebrated Vaisakhi. And then also our theme this year is around community resilience. So I'd just love to hear about the work that's happening in your constituency around community resilience and how we can bring people together.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really important topic. So I'm also on the Women and Equalities Committee here in the House of Commons. We're doing a piece of work around community cohesion specifically. I have a bit of a background in interfaith relations, so it's an area I'm really passionate about. And in the summer with the riots, we were quite badly impacted in Bolton. So it's an area that I'm quite determined to do some work on for my community, because I think we're a really vibrant, diverse community in Bolton, and it's really important that we celebrate all our different heritages. There's a lot of history there to be really proud of, and it's about bringing people together. And I think the fundamental thing for me is about creating opportunities to connect people, to allow for people to understand one another, for communities to interact with one another, for creating spaces for places of worship like our mosques in our area to open up their doors and let everybody in, and just to make sure that I, as an MP, I'm facilitating those relationships. And that community interaction is so important.
Yeah, sure. And how did you celebrate Vaisakhi with friends or family or in your community?
Yeah, so I tend to go to the Gurdwara. This time I was lucky to be at home in Southall, which is where I'm from. So I was with my parents, so we went to the Gurdwara. We go to Nagar Kirtan, which is really lovely. It's something I'd like to introduce to Bolton because we have a very, very small Sikh community, but I do want them to feel represented as well and supported. So I will be looking at future opportunities to try and highlight that part of the community as well.
Yeah, amazing. Enjoy the Vaisakhi celebrations. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks very much.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
And so this is your first time coming as an MP to the Speaker's House for celebrating Vaisakhi, or have you been a few times?
I've been here a few times as a member of the public, but first time as an MP.
And how important is it that we celebrate Vaisakhi in a venue like this, the Speaker's House?
I think it's imperative we do this because this is like the holiest of holies for the Sikhs, and certainly from 1699, it's so important for the Sikh faith to be recognised as the Khalsa, and then to get to celebrate it here in the mother of all parliaments. I think it's just so important, and the recognition given by the Speaker, and to be fair, successive speakers have done this, and to be recognised like that means a lot to the Sikh community. And I think the fact that we got eminent Sikhs from all over the country here is a testament to the fact that the Speaker has involved everybody, and it's a testament to the organisers of the event.
Fantastic. Well, welcome as an MP. And how did the Sikh community celebrate in your constituency this year?
Well, it's like I said, it's the biggest celebration we do, and certainly what we always go traditionally to the Gurdwara to say a prayer and really wish everything well for the whole world, and that is it. Nanak Naam Chardi Kala Tere Pane Sarbatta Pala, wishing well on everybody, and I think that's what the Sikh tenets are all about, is to make sure that when you're here for this short time, you do the best you can, you share in everything you do, hard work, and of course meditate upon God. And I think that's basic, but it sets you up for life. And I'm really pleased that I got the opportunity again to go to my local Gurdwara and celebrate as I do with my congregation.
Beautiful. And the theme this year has obviously been community resilience. What do you think we can learn from the Sikh community when it comes to community resilience, and what do you think they do well with that?
I think the resilience, this year and every year, and I know certainly going back to the COVID times, I remember when food was being distributed, and suddenly we realised that the food wasn't that great because Ritz crackers, orange juice, and it's not great for people with ill health. I made one call to a few of my friends, and of course fresh vegetables, fruit, everything turned up. I think the biggest thing I remember was when we ran out of masks and PPE at the local hospital, made one call to somebody at 10 o'clock at night, and 25,000 pieces of PPE was delivered at cost price by a Sikh gentleman the very next day. It was just like he did it as his duty, his service to the community. And I remember the officers in the council being so like, this is like cost price. I said, well, no, they're not going to make a profit on this. This is a time when we all muck in together. And that is the spirit. And I think that's the spirit every year. And that's what we've got to engender, that we're there for the community and we will continue to be there, whatever the times, not just in the good times, but especially in the bad times.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and hopefully see you again
Thank you very
in
much.
the years to come. Thank you. It's very great to
Perfect. So welcome to Vaisakhi at Westminster. Thank you for joining us this year. Just be great if you could introduce yourselves and tell us how you're finding the event so far.
Yeah, my name's Harpreet Uppal. I'm the MP for Huddersfield, and it's absolutely fantastic to be here today with Abtisam. But brilliant event at the House of Commons.
Thank you.
My name's Abtisam Mohammed, and I'm the MP for Sheffield Central, and was invited here by Harpreet. It's fantastic to be here to celebrate, and what a wonderful amount of people that we have here with us today as well.
Amazing, thank you. So I'd just love to hear a little bit about how Vaisakhi is celebrated in your constituency, and then also our theme this year is around community resilience. So what's happening in your constituency around community resilience, and what can we all do individually to try to help support one another in these difficult times?
Yeah, so in Huddersfield, Sikh community isn't very large, but we have a very connected community. So it's Vaisakhi celebrated in our Gurdwaras, and then also families coming together and celebrating at home as well. And it's a very important, special part for me and my family as well. So that's been great. And in terms of community resilience, I have to say the Sikh community work really in tune with our interfaith community in Huddersfield, and it's great to see how different faiths come together and we all celebrate together, which is the most important thing as well.
Yeah, and I echo those thoughts as well. It's important that we bring communities together, do as much as we can amongst different faith groups, different heritage groups as well. And we find that communities really enjoy that. They really enjoy celebrating other people's faiths, other people's days of events, of celebrations. It's a really good time to really bring communities together. And, what better way for us to start here in Parliament?
Yeah, amazing. Enjoy the rest of your evening and celebrations. Thank you for joining us today.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So yeah, hi, welcome. I'm Bethan.
Hello, Bethan. I'm Lauren Sullivan, new Member of Parliament for Gravesham in Kent.
Well, welcome. So yeah, being a new member, your first time at the Speaker's House celebrating Vaisakhi. How have you found this evening?
I think it's absolutely great. I mean, the room in which we are standing has been opened up and welcoming to Sikhs across the land, and I think that is such an amazing thing to happen here. And it's just so wonderful to hear the positive energy and the hubbub and just catch up with people from across the country. So it is really such a great celebration.
I'm glad you've enjoyed. And so how did your constituency celebrate Vaisakhi over the last couple of days, weeks?
Wow, well, Vaisakhi in Gravesham, and in Gravesend in particular, is the highlight of the year. I think this year we had nearly 10,000 Sikhs walk through Gravesend town centre. It is a universally appreciated and loved tradition now, which has become part of Gravesham's culture. And the way that we have the largest Sikh temple in Europe, so it's such a source of pride for Gravesham. And yeah, we had a fantastic day. It was a beautiful sunshine, and all of the community events that were happening there, as well as the parade, of course. And it was just a really wonderful day.
Oh, sounds like it. And this year's theme has been community resilience. What have you learned from the Sikh community about kind of how they manage community resilience, or how they lead the way with community resilience?
I mean, they are the shining light and the example to be set, really. I think, what we saw during the pandemic with their, but also their week in, week out, helping homeless people, always offering a hot meal. It has really brought strength and testimony to Gravesend and Gravesend residents. And I think that their commitment to public service is something that we should all just really celebrate. And I just want to pay tribute to them and just thank them for the wonderful thing they're doing in Gravesham. So I'm always happy to work in partnership.
Oh, brilliant. And a generosity that I guess goes beyond the Sikh community, as you just said. It kind of touches everyone. Well, thank you so much for coming, and hopefully we see you here next year. But we're glad you've enjoyed. Thanks, Lauren. Thank you. Great. I'm Bethan. Nice to meet you.
I'm Rushna Ali. I'm the Member of Parliament for Bethnal Green and Stepney and the Minister for Homelessness and Democracy.
Well, welcome. So, as you just said, this is your first Vaisakhi at the Speaker's House. How have you found this evening?
Wonderful. It's wonderful. I've been to Vaisakhi events in Parliament, but it's wonderful to be here in the Speaker's House, which is opened up to the community, and to be here to celebrate with friends and colleagues from the British Sikh community. You know, they make a really important contribution to our country, and it's fantastic to see this event here in the Speaker's House in Parliament. So great to be here. Lots of great food, wonderful company, and just makes me really proud to see the way that Parliament opens up to all communities and major celebrations. The Speaker hosted Eid recently as well, and other important celebrations. So it's a great reflection of how our Parliament works, and it's wonderful to see everybody.
Oh, well, welcome for your first, but as you said, you've been to a few. How have you found, again, working, I suppose, with the Sikh community in your role as Minister of Homelessness?
I mean, obviously, homelessness is an agenda that affects so many people, sadly. The number of people who face challenges around housing, and from many different communities, including, of course, the British Sikh community as well as other minority communities, is an issue very close to my heart. And so I'm really proud to be working on this agenda in the Ministry of Housing and Local Government. It's, there's a lot to do in terms of tackling the housing crisis, and it's really important that we deliver, and that's why our department is focused obviously on building 1.5 million homes, taking the action in terms of legislation, as well as providing investment to support local authorities to address the challenges around homelessness.
Yeah, and I guess, the Sikh community is and has become, especially during COVID, famous for its generosity and savour and kind of providing those warm foods and support. And this year's theme for Vaisakhi has been community resilience. What have you learned, I suppose, over the years of kind of working with the Sikh community and others that you have taken away from the Sikh community as that kind of resilience that they have?
Well, it was incredibly inspiring during the pandemic to see how the British Sikh community, but also other communities, came together to support each other. And as someone who has grown up with friends and neighbours from different communities, including in the Sikh community, it doesn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me to see that spirit of generosity and of kind of inclusion, and just people just doing what they can to support each other. And it is what's really powerful about the diversity and the strength in our diversity in our country. And I feel really proud to be able to live in a society where there's so much in terms of the cultural diversity we have, the religious diversity we have in our country, and the way in which that people are able to come together and support each other. And the British Sikh community, along with a number of other communities, really demonstrate how they do that. Not just in the good times, but in the tough times, as you say, like during the pandemic.
Oh, well, amazing. Thank you so much for coming this evening, and hopefully see you at the next one and the next one. But enjoy your evening, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself to the channel.
I'm Guru Preet Singh Anand, and I'm the president of the oldest Sikh place of worship, the oldest Sikh institution in the UK, the Khalsa Jatha British Isles, established in 1908.
Well, we were just saying how old that really is, celebrating 120 years very soon. How important is it to celebrate Vaisakhi in not just the Gurdwara, but then in the Speaker's House as well?
It's very important because it's actually been a part of the history of the Gurdwara that they've always engaged with Parliament and with Lords and Ladies and Members of Parliament, and to represent what Sikhism means to UK society, that fabric of society, our contribution to society. I mean, that they started off at a time when there wasn't that talk about Sikhs in World War One, World War Two. Those wars had yet to come, yet there were Sikh soldiers based out in Hampton Court and Sikh students studying in London and Cambridge and Oxford who all got together to start the Khalsa Jatha British Isles. And that engagement with the government, with people representing their constituencies has always been there from the start.
Amazing. And you've just kind of touched on it, I suppose. This year's theme is community resilience. So, I mean, what have you learned over, not that you've been there for 100 years plus, but, you know, over that time in that Gurdwara, what can we learn from the non-Sikh community, from the Sikhs about community resilience?
So community resilience is important, that you've got to be part of the fabric of society. So when World War One came, one of the people involved with the Gurdwara was a young chap called Jagdish Singh Malik, who had studied in Notting Hill and then went to university in Oxford, but he knew how to fly a plane. And so he applied to fly with the Royal Flying Corps. But their rules and regulations said if you're of Indian origin, you cannot fly. You can't be an officer to fly with us. But he wanted to do his bit, so he signed up with the French Air Force, who were more than happy to have him. They needed every pilot they could get. Once his tutor in Oxford found out about it, he wrote to the Flying Corps and said, we can't have one of our boys flying for the French. They very quickly changed their rules, and then Jagdish signed up for the Royal Flying Corps and was an ace pilot in World War One, having 6 kills to his name, but also having fought against the infamous Baron Manfred von Richthofen, the Red Baron. And although he didn't, he crashed after that fight and had 2 bullets in his leg to remember it by. But afterwards, he still was involved in society, went on to be a president of the Gurdwara, and went on to do many other great things in the country.
Wow, I mean, that is resilience for you.
And I can talk about one more person who was involved with the Gurdwara, Princess Sophia Dalip Singh, goddaughter of Queen Victoria. And not only that, she served as a nurse during World War One, but also a suffragette fighting for the women's right to vote, saying, well, if you want us to pay taxes, we get to decide which way we vote.
Amazing. Oh, well, thank you so much for those fantastic stories, and enjoy the rest of the evening. It was really great to meet you.
Really glad you've organised this, and we're really happy to be here.
Thank you. Perfect.
So I'm Matt Rodder. I'm the Labour MP for Reading Central in the south of England.
Amazing. And not your first, you said. You have been to a couple of these events before, but yeah, I guess how important is it that we celebrate Vaisakhi in the venue that we are?
Well, I think it's really important, and it's paying a tribute to the Sikh community and their importance in British life. And this is the most wonderful, atmospheric place, full of history, incredibly full of decoration and ornate furniture and paintings. It's absolutely wonderful. And it's a nice day out for people to actually come to Parliament, to be in these lovely old rooms, to meet MPs and to have some time to enjoy this place. It's a nice way for us as Parliament to show respect to the Sikh community and celebrate Vaisakhi.
And we spoke before, your celebrations in your constituency haven't happened yet. They'll be on the 4th of May. How will that look in your...
It's very, very colourful. It starts from a Gurdwara on Cumberland Road in East Reading in a place called Newtown. And it progresses up Wokingham Road, which is one of the main kind of arterial routes out of the town. Mm-hmm. And normally there are hundreds of people involved, lots of people, Sikhs with traditional clothing on, superbly dressed, beautifully attired in lots of ceremonial gear, following the Holy Book as it processes. The tradition of giving charity is very astutely observed, and there's a great deal of generosity from the community, and I'd really like to commend them for their charity work and the way that the Vaisakhi procession takes place. People often, passers-by, get given food, which is absolutely wonderful, and from what I understand is obviously part of Sikh history and a very important expression of people's faith. So that's absolutely wonderful, and it's much admired and loved by people in Reading. So we very much enjoy having the procession, and it's quite a spectacle on the day.
It sounds it. And this year's kind of theme has been community resilience. What have you learned or taken from the Sikh community as how they deal with community resilience?
Well, from my perspective, I think the Sikh community in Reading and probably around the country is a very resilient community. Lots of very hard-working people who add so much to the local neighbourhoods and local towns and cities through hard work, through being professionals, being business people, often involved in lots of community organisations, really generously helping other people in great need. Makes me think of the amazing work of some volunteers who support food banks or who offer charitable food donations to people in desperate need, and many other forms of service as well. So I think the Sikh community in my area, certainly, I'd like to pay tribute to them as a very resilient community that offer so much to their neighbours and make a big contribution to our town.
Brilliant. Well, enjoy your celebrations on the 4th, and thank you for joining this evening. Hopefully we see you again next week. But yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure coming, and thank you for the chance to be able to express my support for the local community in Reading, Berkshire and around the country.
Oh, great. Thanks so much. Who you are and why you're here today.
Yeah, sure. I mean, my name's Sat. I'm the founder of Alcohol Free Sikhs. It's an educational program that promotes the living. Sorry, you can edit it, can you?
Yeah.
So we promote an alcohol-free lifestyle. Yeah, and we're getting that education across the next generation because we want people to know the effects of alcohol, and once they learn why they're drinking and they've been to our workshops, then we let them understand, make that decision whether they want to live that lifestyle. Yeah? And this is in line with our Guru's wisdom. Yeah. So it's a really, really important initiative, and obviously we're working with all the Sikh organisations to promote this initiative. Yeah?
It sounds fantastic. And this year's theme for Vaisakhi is, of course, community resilience. I mean, how have you found that through your organisation, this need for resilience and community?
There is, as you know, a lot of people going through mental health issues. So we've got some excellent doctors that are joining in mental health, but also there's other topics as well, like diabetes, eye health, dementia. So we're looking at oral health. So a whole wide range of health issues. And obviously we want to get the information out there. It's free, and obviously we're working with a lot of the Sikh temples around the UK to promote it. I've also been invited to India, actually.
Wow.
To Chandigarh, and hopefully we'll be promoting this around the world eventually. Yeah?